Hello, here we go. It's the Cop-Eye Podcast.
What is happening, everyone? Welcome back to another Cop-Eye Podcast, and we're going to have a little chat about tomorrow's game against Villa. I'm Mick, joined by Jay, and joined by Tim once again. How are we doing, fellas? We all good?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad, mate.
Are you wearing your Manscaped
t-shirt
there, Tim?
I'm not actually. It is fresh out of the wash. I put it back in my drawer today. So.
Well, Jay's got his on, so it's all good. I'll have to go and get mine on for the next pod, I think. But yeah, before we get into it, we've got as usual, we started doing this 2-minute bottle thing where we have a little kick-off question just to kind of get the juices flowing a little bit. And today's one is from Dante P 1981 on Twitter. And the question is, who would be the last man standing if all of Liverpool's squad went out on the ale? So Jay, wow. I'll come to you first on this one. I don't know if you've got any quick thoughts on that and who would be the hardcore one. Who would be there at the end at fucking 6 a.m, just proper going strong? Who would it be?
Well, I've got a theory on that. It definitely won't be James Milner because he doesn't drink. But if you pick up Robbo's book, you will find that the story in there is that he was the last man standing with Adam Lallana when we won the Champions League. He was still up at 6 o'clock in the morning. So for me, the evidence is right there that it's actually Robbo. So whatever the fuck you two say now, you're wrong. Because I've got it in black and white there. And I will be doing a review on this very, very soon. Cheap plug, there you go, Tim. So yeah, my bet's on Robbo. Even if I hadn't read the book, I'd still say Robbo because he's Scottish and they can fucking drink. So yeah, that'd be me.
True. Well, Paul's just said Nat, so I don't know if he means you, Tim, or does he actually mean
yeah,
the real one? But who are you going with, Tim?
Well, I was going to go with Rob as well, just purely because he's the only Scotsman on the team, and you got to fancy him in a drinking contest, don't you? I mean, I understand the Nat Phillips kind of throwing that name in there, but I figured that he'd probably end up headbutting the wall and be knocked out by probably about 11 o'clock in the evening. So, my dark horse, however, would be Ali. I reckon Alisson's can probably drink with the best of them. I've got a sneaky feeling he's he likes his beer and his wine and all that kind of stuff because, he's a keeper and keepers are well known for being a bit nutty. So, yeah, I'd go with Robbo, but my dark horse would be Alisson.
Yeah, see, I'm going to be dead boring here and also agree that Robbo was the first thought that popped to mind because obviously, like you said, Jay, Millie doesn't drink, does he? I don't think Hendo drinks either. So they would be up the top of my list if they did, but obviously they don't, so fuck it. Yeah, I'm gonna be boring and say Robbo. But I reckon Trent might be an outsider, maybe growing up and going to town and whatever. But obviously he's lived the life of a superstar, hasn't he, from an early age, so probably not. But yeah, we'll go Robbo because he could probably fucking down shit loads and then just wash it down with a nice little iron brew at the end. But yeah, let's crack on with tomorrow's game, 3 o'clock at Anfield. We're back at Anfield again. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but we'll see tomorrow. Just had a little look at the form table before, fellas, about last 5 games. We're third in that form table with 3 wins and 2 losses. Villa are 4th with 2 wins, 2 draws and a loss. So, I mean, there's been a lot said about our recent form recently. Obviously, it's not been very good, but the win against Wolves away, the win against Arsenal away, and now coming back to Anfield and up against Villa. I mean, how long do you think it's going to be until Martin Tyler mentions the 7-2?
Oh,
it's going to be seconds, isn't it, Jay? It's going to be absolute seconds.
Even if it's not even before kickoff, before he does his all, and it's live. Well, that bollocks. So I imagine it'll probably be before kickoff, but yeah, during the game, let's set that precedent, because he'll probably mention it quite a few times. I reckon within the first minute, there won't even be a minute on the clock before he mentions it.
Actually, then, is it on Sky? Because I didn't do any back. Yeah, it is. Okay,
he might not even be on fucking commentary. So, which is fucking brilliant.
He'll probably, if he is, he'll probably interrupt the lads in the studio to mention it. So, just in from Martin Tyler, Liverpool lost the first time 7-2.
Fucking didn't realise.
Yeah, there you go, mate.
And he'll throw it in there that it happened with Virgil van Dijk as well. I guarantee he'll throw that in there as well.
Yeah, that's the one Man United fans always use when they're like, "Oh, we've missed Van Dijk." Oh, but you lost 7-2 when you had him in your team. You're just like, fuck up.
1 week, right? We should do a live show. I know we've said that we'll never do a watch along because I don't like him, obviously. But it'd be funny if we did a watch along Martin Tyler bingo, where we'd get everybody in the comments to play along with us, and then or making a drinking game or something like that every time Tyler says something about history of a fixture or something like that. So yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
it'll be the fucking one and only time I ever do a fucking watch along because I don't fucking like him.
Honestly, I could talk about that little bastard for hours, just because the amount of shit that he spouts is just. Because when you listen to when you watch games from 10, 15 years ago, it's like there is a bit of passion there in his voice. I just don't know if he's getting older and he's just thinking, "Fuck this, can't be arsed." But
well, this is the thing in it, because don't forget, right? Didn't we when we had a conversation with Clive Tilsley last year?
Tim is on it.
Yeah. So there's the plug. Yeah. So we had a conversation with Clive Tilsley last year, and if those of you that don't know, check out our Clive Tilsley interview because it's really, really good. Sorry, Tim, you put it away now. Thanks, mate. But didn't he say? How fucking surprised he was when he got taken off the England games and he got taken off the majority of ITV's coverage, and we were all shocked by it because he still has that energy that he had 10, 15 years ago, Clive Tilsley, and that's the difference, isn't it? Like you just said, Mick, it's really surprising that they haven't swapped him out with somebody. But I digress. I can't believe we're fucking 6 minutes in. We're still talking about Martin Tyler, but you know.
Yeah, let's have a look who we've got in here. We've got Paul anyway. Welcome, Paul. We've got
Yuki, Paul, lad.
Yuki. We've got Martin.
So Cal, 9 o'clock in the morning. Wheezy's here as well.
Absolute legend. We've got Gavin. We've got Doug, who's just put Jack Grealish is out till May, which is, I mean, you don't want to see good players injured, but when we're at very worse for wear in regards to injuries, then it is good news because he is always a thorn in the side, isn't he? Yeah. 1892 Reds podcast. All right, lads. Did Jay ever know why he wasn't put up his ball, man? How that Villa fan William got it was a joke.
Don't know. And Ricky's the same, mate. I don't know how Ricky from 1892 didn't get put up as well, but you know, it'll be a strongly worded letter I'll be putting in for next year. It's fucking disgusting. Do you know what? I'm not even bothered that I didn't win. It's the fact that I wasn't invited to participate. That's the only thing I'm bothered about. You know, give me my participation medal. I'd rather be in the running. It's disgusting. You wouldn't think it's baldish, would you? But it is. But you know,
mental times. Anyway, we've got Gavin. I think he'll have his cock in hand commentating. I'm sure he will. Ben would be fucked after 10 minutes.
He's on about the Martin Tyler drinking game.
Oh, yeah, there we go. 1892 again. Could be worse, Mick. Could be McManaman. Glorious isolation. Honestly, listen out for when Macca commentates. He'll say glorious isolation at least 3 or 4 times. Just listen out for it. But yeah, let's get.
Fucking hell, Weeze, you bastard.
What's happened here? Oh,
what has happened? Right, you fucking shitless you are. Fucking.
Wow. Should we have a minute of silence? That's killed me off. That's just killed me off.
I might retire now.
We're 8 minutes in. Let's talk about some footy, shall we? Team news. Klopp today had a presser. He said no more injury news, but he was kind of hinting that there's going to be some changes. Obviously, after the we won't mention the last game, that game against Madrid, but obviously Keita got a chance to start. It didn't work out for him. Came off after 4 minutes before half time. Obviously, you guys done the pod, so yeah, props to you guys for jumping on because I was really fucking livid, to be honest. I was absolutely fuming, so I'm glad I wasn't on it. But you imagine, Jay, that he's obviously not going to start this one as he catered. It's obviously going to be Thiago coming back, and it looks like, doesn't it?
It does, mate. Yeah, and I think Gini will get a rest as well because there's been a lot said about Gini Wijnaldum as well, his performance in midweek. So I reckon we could see a Fabinho, Thiago, Curtis Jones midfield. I'd like to see that, and that'd be quite nice against Villa. Jones did really well against Aston Villa last season at home. You know, when he bagged the goal, so that was nice. So I think that would be my preferred midfield. But yeah, sticking on the Naby stuff, it's gutting. I mean, I was dead excited when the team news happened. I mean, I said that I was gutted that Thiago hadn't started. I would have liked to see a Thiago, Fabinho, Keita midfield. I thought that would have been nice. But yeah, he's definitely not playing because he'll want to take him out the spotlight for sure. So definitely going to be mixing it up tomorrow, definitely.
Yeah, Tim, do you agree with that? I mean, I've seen a lot of stuff. Obviously, when Liverpool lose a game of footy, Twitter is just an absolute cesspit for like, oh, take him out. He needs a rest. Take him out. And I'd seen a lot of stuff about Andy Robbo maybe getting a rest. And I understand he's not been his best. I mean, that still comes down to not having Van Dijk and Gomez and Matip and whatever. He's still struggling, not having that security there. And Mane not being at his best as well on that side, that also hinders it as well. Would you rest Robbo if you had the choice and brought a Tsimikas in? I don't see it happening. I mean, he's been injured quite a lot, hasn't he, Tsimikas, and he's not really had the rub of the green in terms of getting much game time. But would you give him maybe Tsimikas a go in a game like this?
I don't think so. I think, the Klopp will be wanting a bit of revenge for the 7-2. Not to be a Martin Tyler about it, but I think he'll be wanting to keep a clean sheet and shore up the defence and continue that back four as long as possible and give them as much experience as possible together. So I don't see the back four changing from the midweek game. I don't see Fab dropping in. I see Kabak, Phillips, Trent, and Robbo being the back four. The thing I would say about Keita is I would actually like to see him start. I think that there's a lot of talk about Keita because we've never really seen a consistent stretch of him, and we've seen flashes of what he can do and what he's capable of. But at the end of the day, this is the kind of he's healthy. Play him. I personally I know Klopp was obviously taking a risk playing him starting midweek, and it obviously didn't take kind of pan out the way he planned. But at the same time, I think the last thing that he needs, if he is in the long-term plans, or if he is going to have a a kind of effect for the rest of the season, I'd be playing him. Play him maybe with Jones and Milner and give the midfield three a bit of a rest for the midweek game, because we need them after a midfield performance like that in the midweek. They either need a rest or kick up the arse. But for me, I wouldn't take any risks. You want to field your strongest midfield and have them as fresh as possible, especially considering Madrid have a Clásico this weekend, and they're going to be, brimming with confidence after the way they completely did us in midweek. So, yeah, I'd give these guys a rest and kind of go with a second string midfield.
Yeah, and Doug's just put his team there. Alisson, Trent, Kabak, Phillips, Tsimikas, Fabinho, Keita, Jones, Shaq, Hotter, and Salah. I mean, I'd be happy with some changes, but I'm not sure of that level. I mean, I can see Jones start, and I can see maybe Mane given a rest, but I don't think it'll be too different from the last game, to be honest. I mean, someone else said there, Ben Chamberlain needs a couple of games to determine if he stays for next year. That's an interesting one, isn't it, Jay? Because I think when Oxes came into the team, he's recently anyway, the last couple of little cameos he's had, he's looked quite sharp, hasn't he? So that might be an option for him. I think he came on as a false nine in the last game he came on, so that could be an option, couldn't it? Maybe to kind of rest the likes of Mane or anyone else you want to rest in the front three. He can do a job there, can't he? Definitely. Yeah,
absolutely, mate. And again, it's just fresh legs in it, like Tim said, and we've got to try something different at the minute. But again, it's really, the pressure's on now, because a lot of fans were all for putting all our eggs in one basket. The Champions League, the first leg didn't go our way. You never know what can happen next week, obviously, but we really need to start pushing for this fourth place now. And obviously last week, results went our way. We need that to happen again, and it's the risk you take it by making too many changes, where it could bite you in the ass. And that's the thing that will happen to Klopp if he does make all these changes where we're saying we need fresh legs and we need all that sort of stuff. Then, and it does go pear-shaped, then he won't get vilified for it. You know what I mean? And it's a catch-22 situation. So for me, you put your best 11 out again, regardless of it. But again, like you said, there's 2 games in a week, and then you've got another game really important. You should have enough for Villa, but you can't win. And not in this type of season, last season and this season, where the pressure's on, the time frames in terms of between games, you can't win with whatever squad you pick. And he definitely didn't win in the week when he wanted to make the changes for Keita. I think Thiago will start. I think obviously we'll have a stronger midfield. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if we did get the likes of Chamberlain starting.
Yeah, I mean, it is an interesting one. In terms of Villa, obviously we know that.
Know what's going on. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear him, Tim?
Go on, you keep talking.
Yeah, so Grealish is out. They've been a bit of a, I wouldn't say a bogey team, but obviously the 70 that's going to get mentioned, isn't it? But it's going to be a difficult game. Obviously, going back to Anfield, do you see, like we said, with not many change, but you see maybe a change in the front three for tomorrow, Tim, in terms of maybe would you rest a Sadio Mane or something like that, or would you kind of keep it as similar as it was in the last game against Madrid?
It's tough because it's difficult because you can't help but think towards the Madrid game. It feels like it's prep for the midweek game. That's the game that us fans probably have our eyes on more than this weekend, which we probably shouldn't, because this weekend is a huge game in terms of the race for the top four anyway. But one thing's for sure is I'd like to see that 4-2-3-1 again with Fab and Thiago and all four front men playing. I think that playing Hot out front and keeping Mane on the wing is key to Mane finding his form again, because every time Mane seems to be in that central role and trying to play that Firmino role, dropping in deep and stuff, he picks up the ball and almost seems to not know what to do with it. So I'd like to see him return to the wing or be on the bench and just have a rest. He's one of the guys that's not really been injured this year, is he? So I'd like to see a front three of Firmino, Jota and Salah, just to see how that works out, because that to me is an interesting prospect and probably something we haven't seen enough of yet. I'd line up with them three, to be honest, and give Sadio a bit of a break and have him as a guy that you can come on, similar to Jota did against Arsenal in the 60th, 65th minute and come on and bag a goal. So for me, I'd like to see them three up front and then mix it up about an hour in.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be like Jay said, whatever Klopp does though, really, it's going to be vilified if it goes wrong. I should say it's going to be a difficult one. Obviously, Keita got a big chance in the last game; he didn't take it. But let's get on to 17 minutes here, lads. So let's go through who you'd pick for your starting 11. Jay, obviously Dan's gone there. Alisson, Trent, Phillips, Kabak, Tsimikas, Fab, Ox, Milner, Salah, Firmino, Jota. Would you go something similar to that?
I like that. I think that's good. Again, it's one of them things, isn't it? Where what do you pick? But I would go with that. To be fair, let's give Tsimikas some minutes. Even if he just gets 45, let's just see him. Let's just give Robbo a little bit of a rest. Because like Tim said, he's had a lot of pressure on his shoulders, and he has been, doing the business for us all season, really, hasn't he? So let's get him a little bit of a rest, even if it's just on the bench for 45. But I do like that. I think it's still very, very strong. I don't know. I would probably put Curtis Jones in there instead of Ox, just because I really, really like Curtis Jones. I think his development's really good. I think he is the future for this club rather than Oxlade-Chamberlain. And I just think that by giving Jones more minutes, you are developing him a lot quicker than you would normally than he is on the bench. So I like what Dan's put there, but I would swap Ox for Jones.
Yeah, Tim, thoughts on that? Paul's just put his in as well. We've got Alisson, Trent, Robbo, Phillips, Kabak, Gini, Thiago, Milner, Jota, Firmino and Salah. Who are you going with, Tim?
I would probably stick with that lineup. I would probably take Gini and Thiago out and maybe I should probably leave Thiago in for 60, because obviously he only got about half a game against Madrid, didn't he? Leave Thiago in for 60 and switch Gini out for either Fab or Ox, depending on if he'd have Milner playing kind of the number 6. But yeah, I do agree that maybe Ox should get some game time. I think that he was interesting in his new role, and I'd like to see him just have a little bit of a run around in the game. See what he can do, and he is a creative force when he's in form, and it would be nice to see him back. It's something he possesses, something that we've probably missed at the club for the last few months. The the ability to strike the ball from outside and just kind of give defenses something a little bit different to look at rather than, playing balls over the top or down the wing. So I think it's not a bad game for him to step into. Aston Villa are solid at the back. They've been one of the better defensive teams in the Premier League this year. So why not throw something a little bit different than that they're not going to be expecting at them. Yeah,
I agree, mate. I mean, Ben's just put a comment in. Tsimikas could even replace Mane on the left wing if needs to be, pacey and can cross. I mean, there's that many options. It could be, because they could kind of overlap and kind of interchange, couldn't he? But I don't know if that's a bit too experimental for Jurgen Klopp. I think that might be a step too far, but it's definitely could be an option. Boys, then let's get on to. I mean, we never like doing this part, but I can't even get my words out here. Score predictions. Doug's gone for 2-0 to the Reds. What are you going with, Jay?
I'd love to keep a clean sheet and see a few goals. Do you know what? I'm just going to think, nice kick up the arse. Let's just get it. So I'm going to agree with Doug. I'm going to go with 2-0 as well. Let's not get too fucking ahead of ourselves, because at the end of the day, we are playing Premier League football again. So you never know what could happen with Liverpool. Consistently inconsistent since the turn of the year. But yeah, let's just go for a 2-0 win. Yeah,
and Tim?
Yeah, I'm going to go 2-0 as well. First win at Anfield this year, 4 months in, surprisingly. But I think that this could be 7-2. I think that this could be a big turning point in terms of that, getting back off the ground at Anfield and getting that first win. I think that could potentially be a massive boost for the midweek game. So for me, this is crucial in terms of the top four, and it's crucial in terms of midweek, just because having that confidence that you can win back at Anfield and feeling like that little bit of a slump has gone is crucial for this club at the moment.
Yeah. I like what Ben's put there, to be fair. I'd say I like it. It's a bit upsetting, but 1-1. Ben, don't apologise. I think we'd like to be. It's one of them. We're all quite pessimistic, then we're just trying to be really optimistic, aren't we, really? But again, you could see it happening, couldn't you? At the end of the day, we just need to make sure results go our way, because this top four is so close now, and it's sad, isn't it? Because obviously, last year we're talking about this thing, and now it's going to go. But it's one of them things, and yeah, if it's 1-1, it's one of those things, isn't it? But you got to think like Ben sometimes, haven't you? Because sometimes it's realism the way we've been playing, but you never know.
Yeah, especially when you see there's people on Twitter going, "Oh, I've done a prediction of the final, however many games," and it's too hard to predict at the moment what's going to happen. You'd expect Liverpool to beat most teams at Anfield, but the way we're playing it's unpredictable. So we've got Dan's gone for 2-1. We've got Yuki's gone for 2-0 as well. Gavin's gone for 1-0 to Villa.
Gavin, you've been drinking, but maybe Gav's just being like Ben, just saying, listen, I'm being fucking realistic.
Yeah, fair enough. And we've got Dave as well, 2-1. I'm going to go 2-0 as well, boys, to be honest. I'm hoping that we can kind of replicate that Arsenal game, and then at least we can, get a bit of momentum going again. I mean, I said before the Real Madrid game that we were getting a bit of momentum, and then obviously losing that game kind of has diminished that a little bit, but I'm hoping we can kind of spark it up a little bit again in terms of a bit of momentum in the league and push on forward. But we'll leave it there, boys, because there's been a few gimps in the comments here and they're doing me head in, to be honest. So let me get out of here because they're doing me head in. But Ben, last one. Mick, you're the stat man. When was the last time we had a penno? To be honest, I don't actually know. Any of you boys know when the last time we had a pen?
No idea.
Let's have a look now. Quick check of that. We've had 6 apparently this year.
Have we?
Yeah, they were all early on though. I don't think we've had one since January or something, right?
It looks as though City, Mo Salah, got beat for
one. When was that again?
7th of Feb. Yeah, 7th of Feb.
2 months without a penalty.
Yeah, maybe that can change tomorrow and we can get a little gritty, shitty 1-0 win. I'll take it.
I'll take a 1-0 win going off someone's backside. That'll do.
I'll take that.
Thanks to all the gimps in the comments as well. It's been fun. Apparently they've left a load of dislikes on our videos as well, but that's fine. It's interaction on the video. The algorithm goes up, boys. So keep it coming. Keep coming. Keep fucking pissing all in the comments.
Yeah, do it.
It's fine. Give us the dislikes. Who gives a fuck? Couldn't give a fuck.
Yeah, and we'll leave it there, boys, because thanks to all the haters.
Thanks, everybody.
Blocking
Thanks
out
for
the
everybody who
haters.
joined us. Thanks to everybody who joined us anyway. All the usual crew, we love you to bits.
Yeah, these are all absolute legends for jumping in again. And we'll be back. Well, I'll be back tomorrow with two of the boys from the 1892 podcast. I'll be joining, well, they'll be joining me. I won't be joining them. They'll be joining me to hopefully celebrate a Boss Liverpool win. So we'll see you all tomorrow for the team news at 2, and then straight after for the, well, hopefully be a good win. So we'll see you in a bit.